Hello world. Today is today was January 5th, 2024. I say was because it's almost 2 a.m. right now. Today's a late one, not because I was unproductive, but because I didn't set an alarm today, and I go through my routine, and this is just the time when I do it. So I guess just to tell you my routine, this week has been, I wake up, play one round of Modern Warfare Zombies, dishes, cook food, shower, workout, cook food, and then I do this video. There's like a little bit of time in there for not necessarily laziness, but there's like some wiggle room in terms of like doing laundry or finishing whatever TV show or whatever I was watching. But that's irrelevant. It's almost 2 a.m. Today was January 5th, 2024. And what I plan to do today, what I plan to do each Friday, is to do like a wrap up of the week, to kind of look back on this hypothesis that the whole series is revolving around, and see objectively what's happening. I say that was my plan because I'm looking at my phone right now, and let me start a screen recording on this so maybe I can overlay this a little bit. My plan was to check the stats today and let you know what happened, what's happening each week. But as I'm looking at it, the stats are actually for 28 days at a time. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through them today, but I don't know that it's necessarily worth going through each week. Maybe this will be like a monthly thing. And really, 3 weeks from now will be the first time that we'll have results that are just 28 days of only doing the antithesis hypothesis. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through them just for practice and just so we can kind of see how things are right now. But I'm gonna go through them quick, and then I have something else that I wanna talk about. So hopefully, I'm gonna do my best to remember to put chapters on this video so that there's like a break. So if you don't wanna listen to this part, go ahead and go to the next part. All right, so it does the last 28 days at a time, and I can see my views are 151 views in the last 28 days, 5.7 watch time hours, and then I gained, it says +1 subscriber, but really I can see when I started the vlog, or not the vlog, when I started this video series, I lost a subscriber immediately. I had 83, went down to 82, and then now I have 84. So I expected, and I still expect, to lose subscribers for the first little bit of this video series, because people subscribed for a certain kind of content and now they're not getting it. I completely understand. I unsubscribe from channels when the content changes and it doesn't match what I subscribed for anymore. That completely makes sense, and my feelings are not hurt by that. If you're watching this and you're like, this isn't what I signed up for, it's okay. Good luck. Good luck in life, and you'll find something better to fill your time. Top content in the last 28 days is still, the best one is still the one that I made like 8 years ago, How Color Affects Flavor. And that's probably the video I guess I'm most proud of. I don't know, like that's, let's see how many views this has real quick. I don't know if I can, I'm sorry. I hate when people do this. Let's not do this. But that video has thousands of views on it. And it's a video that I made in, I don't even know how long ago, a long time ago. I'm gonna do my best to not get sidetracked. I hate when people waste time. And one of the worst things about watching live streams is that, I don't know, 90%, maybe 80% of the time is just a waste. People get on there, they're not set up for what they're gonna do. Maybe it's hypocritical of me to say that when I'm sitting here talking and I don't necessarily have like a strict script that I'm reading from, but that's kind of the point of this video series. So Right now, the top content after week 1 is still a video that I made, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, about color. And that was a cool video, but has nothing to do with this. So maybe we'll see if someday we can top that. In the last 28 days, that's got 84 views. The videos have actually been doing a little bit better in terms of, like, the first video has 12 views, the second video has 13, the third video has 31 views. Oh, and then yesterday's video has 46. So, like, each day we've done a little bit better. That's cool to see. That's all we need to do for now. That's the objective part. You can see the actual numbers now. I have like 84 subscribers as of January 5th, 2024. I always think it's cool to see when I go back, scroll way, way, way back on someone's Instagram that has like 1 million subscribers, and then you look, or followers, and then you look and see, and like, oh my gosh, this post that they posted only had like 6 likes on it. And it's because they probably had, I don't know, 25 followers or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to see the timeline, and what I can hopefully do with this, since we are doing this as kind of like a true experiment, is to get some objective numbers, share them with you along the way, and then this will be documented in each video. Okay. Subjectively, I had my first 5-day work, I had my first week in the gym in months, like several months, that I've got 5 days in the gym in a single week. I told you I've been averaging like 3. The most that I've gotten was 4. And that's because I'm doing this. I know it is the beginning of the new year, or like, is it a new year? So maybe that would just happen naturally. People are more motivated in the beginning of the year. But honestly, these videos make me so much more accountable, because I know I'm going to have to come on here and say the truth. I'm going to have to come on here and say whether or not I worked out. And it's only Friday night, and I've got in my 5 workouts, which is perfect, because tomorrow I have to crunch. I have to crunch for work. I have to crunch for this business, this art project that I'm doing. And it's because this week was not as productive as it needed to be. I talked, I don't know, on the second day, I guess, about how I just didn't get anything done that day. And I sometimes lack a sense of urgency. Monday, I'm going to start filling you guys in on what this thing is. And because I've just now committed to doing that, I know that this weekend I have to get done what I have to get done. And yeah, so tomorrow I'm not going to be making a video, no videos on the weekend, thank goodness. But tomorrow is just going to be a crunch day. It's just, no gym, straight work all day long. Yeah, and I'm honestly looking forward to it. So, work is hopefully going to get there. The gym definitely got there. These videos are helping me. And 5 videos that I've made, I know that this is silly, and I said this when I was making the daily vlog too. I love looking back at my workout journal and seeing like the 5 days that I crossed off. I make a little calendar in there, and I mark off the days that I go to the gym, and I circle the days that I do cardio. And I love looking in there and seeing like, oh, these are all the days that I went. And when you don't, it's depressing, you know, you look in there. But the parallel is I have 5 new videos. I created 5 new things this week that didn't exist a week ago. And I don't know, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Even though these videos mean nothing, you know, right now at least, it feels good to be creating, and it feels good to be creating every single day. And then at the end of the week, have these 5 things to look back at and say like, oh, those things didn't exist last week and now they do. So if you're a creator, or if you're somebody that's thinking about making YouTube videos, or thinking about making anything, but particularly YouTube videos, I think to do it, because you've seen me doing these. They're not great, but but I limit myself to 1 hour, and it's working out very well. And I'm so grateful that I'm doing 5 days a week instead of every single day like a psycho. It makes the push pretty easy. Okay, dedicate 1 hour to it, cut it off, and then after 5 days, you get 2 days of break. And I'm really excited for what this video series is. I said I wasn't going to apologize about how I make these, but I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling. I'm gonna move on to the next topic. So this is where the new chapters should start. So if you skipped ahead, welcome. Again, I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I can do other things while I'm doing dishes or while I'm doing my warm-up at the gym. You don't want to listen to music yet, or while I'm driving, getting groceries, whatever. You want something other than a YouTube video or a TV show or something. You just want to listen because you want to read, but you can't read because that takes time out. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I started listening, well, right now I'm currently listening to Robert Greene's Art of Seduction. Previously, I was listening to 48 Laws. I've read all those books, but it's nice to be able to listen to them. I'm listening to Robert Greene's Art of Seduction, and I'm listening to, oh goodness, I don't know his name, but Jay Sarno's biography. And I'm listening to these two, and I decided to start listening to Rick Rubin's Creative Way. And there's a lot of like woo-woo in it, like a lot of like spirituality, like connectedness, like, and one of the things that he said in it was, if you can be open to these things, then the creativity, when you're closed off to these things, which I'm an atheist agnostic. I don't believe there's anything, but I also don't think there's any way to prove if there's anything. So agnostic, atheist. So when I hear these types of things, sometimes my brain like shuts down. I'm like, ugh, like I can't buy into like this way of doing this thing if you're equating it with some spiritual aspect. I've gotten much better at this over, I don't know, I guess the last 4 or 5 years, where I used to just shut off, and I'm like, if I could agree with 99% of what somebody was saying, but then I find out that I disagree with something, and boom, I'm just like, oh, well, it's all pointless. It's not all pointless, though. It's not all pointless. Because people can say things that make sense, and you don't have to agree with them about everything. There's no one that you're going to agree with everything. There's probably things that I say that you want to turn off and not listen to me anymore because you think I'm stupid, or you can't possibly have anything in common with me because we disagree on this one thing. And it's not true. You don't have to listen to anything I'm saying. That doesn't bother me. But I think there's a very valid point that it took me a long time to recognize, that I don't have to agree with the spirituality part of this Rick Rubin book, or I don't have to believe in his personal life view on spirituality, but I can be open to all the other things that he's saying. I'm going to relate this to somebody else that probably some of you don't agree with and immediately turn off from, and that's Joe Rogan. Let me backtrack. So I'm listening to the Rick Rubin book while I'm doing my warm-ups at the gym, and I'm listening to it while I'm driving home from the gym, and he's talking about how everything is connected, and the universe is, he believes everything's connected, and you have to be open to like listening to things and paying attention, and when things are showing up seemingly coincidentally, it's not actually a coincidence. Okay, so this is his thing. I think a lot of people believe these types of things. They see them as a sign. I can't think of what the word is, but like when you buy a red car, all of a sudden you start seeing red cars everywhere. There's like this phenomenon that happens, and usually that's what I equate these things to. But I don't know, I'm in the mood. I'm listening to the audiobook, listen to Rick Rubin's Creative Way. I'm in the mood to just kind of be more open to these things, even if I don't believe it. And 2 days ago, I don't know, I was listening to someone Joe Rogan was talking to on his podcast, and they're tossing out Mark Twain quotes. And they're talking about like what an interesting guy, like how many quotes are attributed to this guy, and how he was how Joe Rogan was saying how some people consider him to be like the first stand-up comedian, blah blah blah. So that goes in, that goes out, move on with my life, like just move on. And then I'm listening to Rick Rubin at the gym today, come home, cook my food. I'm watching, goodness, Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, the cartoon animated series. By the way, we're going to talk about cartoons in another video because I love cartoons. But so I'm watching Lower Decks, the Star Trek animated series. And two of the characters are dressed up as Mark Twain, and they're doing this bit where they're like talking to each other in the Mark Twain accent and like talking, old-timey 19th century type nonsense. And had I not been listening to this book by Rick Rubin, had I not watched the podcast, had I not watched Lower Decks, this Mark Twain thing never would have crossed my mind. Like, of course, everybody is forced to read Mark Twain when they're in junior high or high school or whatever. But anyway, this thing happened. I'm listening to Rick Rubin. Okay, let's follow this thread. And so I start listening to, I use my library access. We're going to talk about the libraries in another video too. But I look through my library. There's a couple of different ways to get audiobooks through my library. And it's on the app. I get it. I listen to the introduction. I'm listening to the first chapter as I turned it off as I started recording this. And they're talking about how for like 30 or 40 years, this man is writing his autobiography, and he started his autobiography like 30 times or something like that before he finally came to this conclusion of dictating it and having it done that way. He thought of like all these creative different ways of like writing his autobiography and doing it as fiction and doing it the opposite of what his real life was. And he wants to tell the story in a way that is 100% honest. He makes it so that he dictates his autobiography. It can't be released for 100 years after he dies. Like there were books that were not allowed to be released until, the person was dead posthumously before him. But it's just, I don't believe in the woo-woo stuff, but there is some, like, if I wasn't listening to this book, I wouldn't have thought to correlate Joe Rogan with the Lower Decks and then listen to Mark Twain and see that hundreds of years ago, this incredible American writer, among other things, was struggling with the exact same thing that I struggle with this dumb YouTube channel. Like, I've tried to do this YouTube 4 different times. I've tried to speak in a way and share what I think to be like real things. And it's so difficult. And I don't know if inspiring or motivating or what the word is. It's comforting to see that one of the greatest creative people in existence struggled with the exact same thing. And all of these things are coming together at the same time. And could it be coincidence? Absolutely. 200%. But it's fun. It's fun to see these things all come together. And I am probably going to end up talking about Rick Rubin's book again because, gosh, it's it's like listening to Headspace, but it's very good. I don't know if it's going to be a really good episode or not, but maybe. So, yeah, first week, great. I'm very satisfied with how things went. I'm excited to see how this thing plays out. We'll get the stats every 28 days and go over them. And I'm just excited to finish all these books. And I don't know. I'm just optimistic about the future in general. We're coming up on 20 minutes. That's why I'm trying to wrap this up. I hope everyone has a good weekend, and I will see you Monday, and we will talk about Lawndale Club. finally. And that means I need to get off here so I can go crunch and get stuff done. See you Monday.